Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. Today we're going to talk about drying some more herbs. So let's get into it. Today we've got some lemon balm and a couple trays of that, and we have some catnip. I'm loading this up. We've got 3 trays of catnip. And then we've got the 2 trays of lemon balm. And we went through our cool down phase. And a lot of times before I start, I'll go ahead and check my temperature of my trays, because when I do herbs, I don't do them as long. Well, you've seen me hit that leaf, that'll kind of escape me out of that. It's already cooled down, but my temperature is 225, and I want to dry them at 215. Now, I always do 10 hours extra dry time. That way it's not just sitting there freezing and running. If it's, I can make sure that it's good and dry and warm whenever I get ready to take them out. But anyway, after I set that dry temperature where I want it, I hit save. Now we're going to go back to start. And we're going to hit this leaf up here because we don't want to go through the 15-minute time again. And that'll kind of bypass that section for those of you that's not familiar. Now, this is a Harvest Right large machine. This is one of the newer models, except it's not the 6 tray. But anyway, we're just going to hit continue. Now, we're going to go look at the process. We're also doing spearmint, and what we do when we do this, of course, we're making sure we only get the good leaves. A lot of times, certain herbs I'll dry with the stems on there, and we'll be doing some oregano in some time here this week too. But anyway, the process is just get your herbs and then start getting the good leaves off. And so we're kind of a little backwards in this, but it'll work just fine for you to know how to do this. We're going to crank up the other freeze dryer for the spearmint, but we have some chamomile. Now, this chamomile has been dehydrated. I dehydrated at a really low temperature, but once I get finished, I just stick this in the freeze dryer to pull out any extra moisture. That way there won't be a problem. If I store this for a few years, it'll be ready to preserve with very low moisture. But we're cranking up the other freeze dryer, and we'll put this in it. Okay, the other freeze dryer is ready, so we're going to load it up. We're going to put our chamomile in there. And then we'll put our spearmint. And I didn't mention on the other one, for those of you that's new to freeze drying, but make sure once you hit continue, make sure your drain valve is closed. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a message once it gets to cool down enough to start vacuuming that your vacuum isn't right. So be sure and do that. It's just kind of the habit. After you do it a while, it just kind of gets to be a habit. But anyway, that can be real disappointing, and I have done it in the past. But anyway, we've got that in there. We're going to close this drain valve on here. And then we're just going to hit continue. And now we'll let it go through its cycle, and we'll pick up once we get finished. Okay, the process is complete. It took about, with my extra dry time, about 21 hours. Now, when you pull out these trays, sometimes when you do herbs, you have a problem with them wanting to drag all the herbs. So what I do is just grab on the side, push the tray up towards the top, and then bring it out. And we keep a large bowl for putting these in. And we'll get this last tray out of here. And like I say, I like to do this when it's warm. There is quite a bit in here. This is the catnip. We've already put all the others up. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing to quiet down over there. But just taking, we'll crunch it up. And it needs to feel like it's good and dry. You don't want to feel any cold spots or anything like there's more water or ice. And then what we're going to do, this here, we're going to put in let me get a quart jar here. Definitely this stuff is strong here with this, the smell of that catnip. So it's filling there. And we'll put it off in here. And these little rods like that's made for like this, really use them in making sauerkraut and stuff. We'll take and it works real good to push this down where you can get more in the jar. And you can put an oxygen sensor in. Now this here is for my daughter, so I'll let her decide. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to vacuum this jar. And the way we're going to vacuum this jar, you can buy you one of these little vacuum rechargeable jar vacuums. Now in ours, we'll go ahead and put an oxygen absorber, but in hers, we're just going to vacuum it. She'll use hers up quicker. Plus, it takes all the oxygen out, and when you have a good seal. And these are really simple to operate. This particular one here, we just let it run till it counts to 40 or above, and then we'll shut it off, and it's got a good vacuum on the jar. Just make sure you got a good quality lid whenever you do that, and that you have a ring that doesn't have rust. Make sure you put it on there and keep it tight. This is not like when you're canning and you expect the seal to stay there, because it doesn't heat up the seal and contact it that way, so we need pressure. But that's all it is. And you can do your herbs this way. It's a good way to take and process them so that you can keep them fresh when they're not in season. But anyway, I hope you found some value in this video. And of course, if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, select all. Give it a big thumbs up and share this video. Enjoy that gardening experience.